Welcome to a gab about some stuff. The stuff we are gabbing about today is jewelry. And the reason we're gabbing about jewelry is because somebody asked me to, and they noted that I wear pretty minimal jewelry for somebody who likes a lot of stuff. So I thought, yeah, sure, why not? I'll gab about anything. So that's what we're doing today. I have a pretty small jewelry collection, so this will not be a long gab, but hopefully it will be interesting. I'll start by talking about something that is not currently in my possession, and it is the pair of earrings that I've worn the most in my life, which I cannot find, and I hope I gifted them to my niece. So when I was born, my ears were pierced, and it's pretty common in the culture that I'm from, that baby girls have their ears pierced pretty early on. So those are earrings. I don't know if those are the earrings that were in my ear from then, but those are the earrings that I'm aware of having worn forever, and they are teeny little diamond studs, and I wore them almost every day, all day, for like over 25 years. You know, like that's just what happens, is you just keep the earrings in, and some people do change them, but not me. They were pretty much like an extension of my body. So those were my first set of earrings, first set of jewelry from even before leaving the hospital, but I can't find them when I was looking for them to make this video, and I suspect maybe on a recent trip to Haiti I gifted them to my little niece, who is now 5, but I think she was like 4 at the time, so I think she's wearing them now. So I hope that's where they are and not just lost to the universe. But that's that. So one of the reasons I stopped wearing those as frequently was because, first of all, you know, they're pretty tiny, and they were nice, you know, like a little pop of something, like a little, but they were pretty small. So instead I bought these, and these are just from a local jeweler. I don't have a great camera, so hopefully this will all work out, but these are just from a local jeweler, and they are a little diamond in the middle, and then they have a little gold ring around them. I think they're called a floating diamond or something like that. I don't think they're called a halo, which is what I want to call them, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called. So I wear these now every day to most things, unless I'm wearing costume jewelry, you know, unless I go to an event where I'm wearing like something that's halter and I want big earrings and I'm trying to make a statement. But for my everyday, these are my go-to. That's what I wear just from regular jewelry store. This piece I also wear every day. It is a Lola necklace, and it was a gift from my husband a couple of Christmases ago. I never take it off. It doesn't get in my way or anything. It's pretty petite. I do have an extender for it, so sometimes I feel like I'd like it to be a little bit longer, and I'll put the extender on, but mostly it's just kind of my little bling, you know, so I don't feel completely naked. Because like I say, you know, I've been wearing jewelry since I was a baby. That includes necklaces. I've always had gold necklaces since I was small. So for me, just having earrings and necklace make me feel all the way dressed up. So those are my two basics. My wedding band I've been wearing since I've been married only, so that I've not been wearing since I was a baby, but it is just a solid gold band I just got from a jewelry store, and it's just an 18 karat gold. I don't remember what width it is, but I think it's like the smallest width that you can get in a gold band, you know, however they measure them. It's been a couple of years now, but it's just very plain. And this I also wear every day, and I wear it to sleep and all of that. I don't fuss with it too much. Now on to some of the jewelry that I do rotate through. First of all, I do consider this jewelry. I guess it is my Apple Watch, and I wear it 20 hours of the day, or 18 hours, however long I'm awake. So I do keep that on most of the time. But when I'm going to fancy events, galas, parties, weddings, things like that, I don't wear my Apple Watch. I actually wear a Link watch, and this is a Gucci Link watch. It is gold, and it was also a gift from my husband. It's very beautiful. I think it's very subtle. It's, you know, what they call feminine, or a woman's watch, or whatever, and I just love it. Closing it is a little bit of a pain, and I've had nowhere to go for months. So but that's kind of what it looks like, and it wears more like a bracelet than a watch, and I just really enjoy it. I think it's lovely, it's perfect, it's understated, it brings up all of the outfits, it's got the perfect amount of sparkle, and it is adjustable, I guess, but I don't adjust it, so some of the links I did remove or had removed by a jeweler once I got it home. I do have some hairline scratches on the face, but the cost to replace it is not exorbitant. Like, I don't want to bother. So the scratches are barely visible unless I'm all up in them like that. So I'm leaving it that way. Maybe I should have done this when I talked about, well, I'll leave that for the end. The second piece of jewelry that I wear on a semi-frequent basis is this gold rope necklace. And I bought this necklace when I was having a crisis of identity. Not really, but when I was in a moment where I was like, you know, everybody I know from the Caribbean, everybody, yeah, you know what I mean, but a lot of people I know from the Caribbean, like, this is such a Caribbean girl, boy, person staple. Why don't I have one? And I was like, I need one right away. I need one. And it had to be purchased in the Caribbean because that's what we do, I guess. I don't know. My friend is from Puerto Rico. She's Puerto Rican. And she wore one day. And I was like, even you have one. She's like, of course, it's a Caribbean thing. So I was like, oh my gosh, so I have to get one too. So I did get this. I've only had this for a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 or 1.5. I don't know. But I did purchase this on a Caribbean vacation so that I could have my self-certified Caribbean person rope necklace. So here it is, and I bought this piece at a jewelry store, and it's just a starfish. I intend to put other pieces in it when I find them and feel like it, but you know, I mean, gold isn't free. You kind of have to go look for it. It kind of feel like it has to speak to me, and I haven't found a piece to replace it yet that speaks to me. So for now, it's just this. And often I will wear these two together, and I think it's fine to do that. So that's that. I have a piece of jewelry that is not fine jewelry. So all of this is just, you know, straight up gold so far. I have a pair of the Dior, what are these called? Tribale earrings, and I've had these for years, and these are my second go-to. So if it's an event where I don't need big statement earrings, but these are just not gonna cut it, I will switch into these, and they are two-tone, sort of. They're mostly gold toned, as you probably know. It is costume jewelry. It is Dior jewelry, so it is not gold, but they really held up quite well. So I have no complaints about them. You know, I know this is not what people are supposed to spend their money on, is, you know, costume jewelry, luxury costume jewelry, but what can I say? I love them. They spoke to me. I knew I would get a ton of wear out of them, and I do. They are just perfect for me. They are, I think, understated, but they still catch the light in a beautiful way and just kind of like highlight my outfit and bag and whatever else I'm wearing. So that's that. All right. So now then, let's talk about my engagement ring, which I wear sometimes, but not all that often. This thing is one of my favorite least used items in my closet. It's beautiful. I love it, but I don't wear it all that frequently. Sometimes if I'm going to see my in-laws or my own family and I just feel like, oh, and my husband is going, I put it on. But other than that, usually I save it for, like, I don't know, events or when I remember to wear them. I was really making an effort to wear it more last winter into this spring, but then I kind of forgot, and then we started staying at home all the time anyway, so it's like whatever. But if you'll allow me to tell you about this ring, I would love to share the story. So my husband and I, we decided to get married after we'd been dating for a couple of years, and we'd been living together for a couple of years, and the idea of the getting marriage, I don't know, you know, whatever, kind of came up in a pretty organic way, like we were talking about it, and we decided to do it. So it wasn't like a surprise proposal, and he didn't show up with a wedding ring or an engagement ring. So we were gonna go look for one together, and before we could look for one, I told some people that I got engaged like the weekend before, whatever, and a woman in a spin class that I was teaching said, oh, do you have a ring? And I said, no. And she said, oh, well, I don't know you that well, but have you considered looking at a pawn shop for your engagement ring? And I was like, no, I have not. And she said, well, consider it. So I said, okay, I'll consider it. Tell me all about it. And she was like, well, you can save a bunch of money and, you know, whatever, just go have a look. And I love saving money. I love saving money. One of my favorite things in life is getting a good thing for a good price. So we decided to go check some stuff out. So, you know, we went to the typical jewelry stores around town. We went to like the, you know, the mall jewelry stores, like whatever, chains. But we also went to a couple of like independent stores and whatever. And then I ended up having a conversation with my husband where he was like, I'm not feeling this whole, you know, pre-used ring vibe. Like, what if it has some bad energy? What if the marriage ended badly, you know, whatever, and all this. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if that's how things work, you know, I don't know that it matters that much if somebody, you know, like whatever. So it kind of became a little bit of a discussion, but anyway, the point is we ended up going with one from there. This is not the one. The one that we ended up getting was just a regular one that they did have at a pawn shop, and I was like, okay, great, whatever. I like, you know, I wasn't in the marriage for the ring, like that wasn't part of it for me. So fast forward a year later, I thought I would give myself an upgrade. It was a little bit of a smaller ring, you know, whatever. So I wanted to get an upgrade, so I did go back to the pawn shop. And turns out you can always apply credit from the thing that you bought minus tax onto a future purchase, especially if it's a diamond. Maybe it's only if it's diamonds. Anyway, so I spoke with them. I went a couple of times. I told them I wanted to upgrade. I wanted a bigger ring with a little bit more brilliance and more clarity than the one that we'd got, because we also were only engaged like 6 months, because also we weren't in it for the engagement. We just wanted to be married and have a party. So, you know, we picked one that I liked, you know, it was fine, but I always knew that I wanted a beautiful solitaire with some sparkle and shine and like beautiful clarity. I went a couple of times, tried to work with the folks who work at the store, and there was never anything that quite met my specifications. And then they suggested that they could actually take loose stones, which they have sometimes, and put it in a setting of my choice. So that's basically the long version of it. So that's how I ended up with just a solitaire. That's all I've ever wanted to wear as a married person, and I barely wear that. So what's the moral of the story? I guess the moral is, you know, look in unconventional places. If it doesn't bother you that it belonged to somebody else before, especially where it can be like a loose diamond set into a ring that you have, or a ring of your choice, then consider it. There's also, I have since learned, what do they call it? Shrinking diamond syndrome, SDS, and turns out a lot of the reason why engagement rings and wedding bands and things like that end up being sold to pawn shops and resale places is that people decide they want to upgrade themselves, like I wanted to upgrade myself. So it isn't necessarily that, you know, the wedding ended in like a murder-suicide situation that it's there and that you're gonna bring that into your own relationship. So just a little food for thought. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end it here. That's the gab. It's turned out to be longer than I expected it to be, but I was happy to share that. I'm happy to answer any questions about the buying process. I'm happy to answer about the luxury. And now my neighbor is playing incredibly loud music, so I'm just gonna end it now. Gab back, let me know your thoughts. Thanks.